Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tish Williams, the Executive Director of Partners for Stennis and Michoud. And for the past couple of days, our members have been meeting with freshman members of Congress as part of a national coalition, Citizens for Space Exploration. And you may not know it, but we have 100 new members of Congress. And so that's why it is so important for Partners for Stennis to join with Citizens for Space Exploration to provide these members and their staff with an update on why we as citizens and taxpayers support the robust funding of a NASA budget. With us today are some of our members. We have Mark Glorioso, who is the chairman of Partners for Stennis, and Al Wise, past chair. They both have worked with NASA for decades. And so they bring to the table a great deal of history, knowledge, and experience that we were able to share today with these freshman members of Congress and their staff. So without further ado, let me introduce the chairman, Mark Glorioso, to tell you about what we support and how we provided that information to members of Congress today. Mark?
Thank you, Tish. Well, one of the things that we did today was when we were talking to some of these staffers from various congressional districts, none of them are actually in NASA states. And so we tried to give them a feel for why is NASA important, not just to the states where we have centers, but to the entire nation. And we talked a little bit about how foreign governments are getting ahead and starting to lead the way on big rockets and even considering building a space station. And we need to maintain preeminence. We talked about how the medical research on board the International Space Station has so much potential, much like when we are researching in the deepest of the oceans and the rainforest and finding new cures for diseases. One of the things we talked about was how NASA does so much STEM and the kind of activities that we have done in the past with students, and how in this post-COVID world, we now have the opportunity to reach even more classrooms with the actual engineers and scientists working at the various centers across the nation. And we talked a little bit about how the applied science work that is being done at NASA benefits the ocean color studies, how it helps us to understand how to track hurricanes, how to predict weather, how to take care of precision farming and other things that NASA has a hand in. And they were very appreciative of what we taught them, and I think very, very interested in how they can help NASA continue to push forward.
And you know, it's all happening with only less than 1/2 of a penny of every dollar spent on the federal budget. That's really amazing. Al, let's talk about the rockets. Why do we need another rocket?
Okay. Yeah, likely you're going to be asked someday if you're out in the public and all, why does NASA need another rocket? Because we have all the commercial boys out there now with their rockets, and they are going to the International Space Station and back, and they've already had a crewed launch to the International Space Station and back. But if you look at the chart that's on the screen now, the big thing that stands out is they don't have heavy lift capabilities. The SLS Block 1B can lift almost 45 metric tons, while the current SLS is going for 25 metric tons, maybe a little bit more. All of the commercial guys can only get to 15 metric tons, and if you overload them, they can't get out. They still have to achieve that 17,000 miles an hour to escape Earth's orbit. So we need this new rocket. We need this big rocket. It needs to be fully tested and put into use. Without it, we can't get to the moon, and we certainly can't get to Mars.
So, Mark, any closing remarks? Mark, you're muted.
Well, of course I am.
That happens from time to time.
In this post-COVID world, we struggle with technology at times. The only other thing I'd like to add is that in this time where it seems that the administration may be changing focus at NASA, we want to make sure that people understand that this Artemis program and this trip to the moon that was planned for 2024, it is a little bit at risk if our mission changes significantly due to the administration change. We talked about that with these staffers, and it is what it is, right? But if we get more applied science or if our focus changes, it's okay. NASA has a lot of things to offer in the science and engineering world, and we will get to the moon and to Mars where we can explore and find these new cures, new organisms, new ways of living and maintaining technology on our Earth. And thank you, Tish, for having me today.
Well, I think a final word is what we learned in our meetings with members of Congress these last 2 days is that there is bipartisan support. Space exploration and development are and have always been a bipartisan initiative that is vitally important to America, to all of us. It benefits all of us, no matter where we are, whether we have a center in our state or not. Everyone benefits from this program. And so if you want to find out more, you can go to citizensforspace.org and the partnersforstennis.org website to find out more. And if you're right here in Mississippi and Louisiana, we invite you to join us as citizens and taxpayers. Everyone can be a member of Partners for Stennis and Michoud, and we hope you will join us.